Hello, hello. Whoops. Hi, everybody. My name is Susan Tapley, and I am an independent designer with Chalk Couture. I have some awesome projects that I want to share with you tonight. So I just need to share this to a couple of places that like to watch also. And while you are watching, if you wouldn't hit that SHARE tab also, so other people can see what we do here, that would be excellent, and I would really appreciate that. It is the best compliment you can give me when you share my videos. I said that word. I know I'm not supposed to on Facebook, but I can't help myself. So I just have one more place to go in here, and we are done, and we can get started. How's everybody doing tonight? One more place. There we go. Done doing that sprinkling. We are sprinkling the videos out there. So be sure to say hello when you're popping in so that I know you're here. I've got some really cute projects planned for you tonight that I think you're really going to like. One is using a transfer that we've already used for an inking project, but today we're going to use chalk. And the other project is something new that I'm trying. I'm not really sure what I'm calling these, but so far I've come up with the name Pillow Sashes. So I did a little bit of sewing today, but don't be scared if you don't sew. You can definitely do this with glue. You really can. So hi Leslie, how are you tonight? So thanks for popping in. You guys ready to get started? Let me get my screens all set up and we will get this going. Here we go. Sorry, I have a long reach to get to my screen here. I have a new setup where I'm doing my lives, and the table is just a little bit too high. I'm kind of a small, short person. Not too small, but I'm short. So the height is a little bit of a challenge for me. So I need to either lower my table or raise up my seat. I'm sitting on pillows like a 4-year-old. All I need is a phone book to sit on, right? Or a booster seat. Anyhow, we're going to be using the Hugs and Kisses design transfer. I know some of you out there have these already. So last week I think we made some Hugs and Kisses t-shirts, and I have a group of people coming on Friday. I think it's Friday. I think it is Friday. That are coming to do t-shirts with me. So that's going to be really fun. I will have an opportunity for them to do the project that we're working on tonight. If they're interested, I'll have enough supplies with me. And also we're going to be working with our vintage truck spring add-on. So I'm excited to show you that, and I absolutely want you to be sure to see it before they are sold out. I have one available in my shop, and they are also in my online store for the time being. They are being retired, so get them while you can. They are awesome transfers, and I'm kind of sad to see them go. So without further ado, we're going to be doing Hugs and Kisses, and I have this cute little board that I painted this afternoon and tied this little rope around it for hanging. And what I want to do is I want to do a Valentine project in non-traditional Valentine colors with this. So normally you've got your red, white, pink, black. Those are kind of your traditional Valentines. But I picked these colors. I hope you like them. We've got sort of a soft Wedgwood blue, a sage green, and also a bark. It's called bark. I like to call it chocolate, but those are the 3 colors that I want to do this with. It's going to be kind of a subtle look, more sophisticated than your traditional pink, reds, and blacks. So, you know, let me know what you think. You can do this in any color you want to, of course. Hello, Miss Cindy. How are you tonight? So this is the board that I painted today. I just want to be really sure that it's not going to get stuck to my transfer because it is fresh paint. So I have my wax out. If you have watched me chalk before, you'll know that I've been using like a butcher's wax for about 3 years. But recently we came out with our own Chalk Couture branded wax. And what I love about this the most is, first of all, it's small, so it doesn't take up a lot of room. But it also doesn't have that strong odor that the wax that I used to use has. So you just take a little bit of wax on your husband's old t-shirt and just kind of give it a light coat. It doesn't have to be any huge amount. Just a light coat is all that you'll need to keep your transfer from sticking too tight to the surface. because sometimes that can pull the paint off, or it can even leave a little bit of the blue adhesive on your surface. So you want to avoid that. That looks pretty good. You can't even see this. The other thing about our wax, the Chalk Couture wax, is that it's clear. Butcher's wax does have a yellow tone to it, so it changes the color of your surface just a little bit. So that's just another thing to be aware of and to love about Chalk Couture surface wax, available on my website. All right, so as I said before, we have used this transfer before, but I'm gonna see if it needs to be fuzzed or anything like that. I got a feeling it's fine. Some of our transfers are really, really sticky. This one is actually sticky. I am going to fuzz it. And what fuzzing does is it adds just a little bit of lint to your transfer, and it softens the adhesive so it doesn't stick quite so tight. Now, you guys are both coming to my class on Friday, aren't you, you two? Looking forward to seeing you. So, what do you think of my colors? Non-traditional Valentines. This would be nice. I think you could give it to a man or your son. As I was saying last night, I'm having a hard time coming up with things for my grandsons. They're just, I don't know, they're not hearts and flowers kind of guys. And they're not Russell Stover kids either. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. But that's a little better. Okay, so I picked up a little bit of lint on the back of the transfer. My camera's a little bit crooked here, and I'm just going to lay this right down on my transfer. It should be about even, the top and the bottom and side to side. That looks pretty straight. Yeah. Okay. So even though I've just waxed this, I'm not going to put a super ton of pressure on it, just kind of a medium pressure. Rub it down with my finger. If this was a chalkboard, I definitely would be a little bit more aggressive with my squeegees and making sure this is really tight. I can actually hear there's a few air bubbles in here, so I'm going to go lightly. What is that? Oh, what is that? There's a little bit of like glitter on it. Something like that. So I'm just going to smooth this down nice and light with my little squeegee and see how it goes. Is there something in my screen right here? All right, it's good. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is do the hugs in blue, the ampersand in chocolate, and then the kisses in the green. Did it show up? Yeah, I think it will. Now, the only other things I have to think about are the little hearts. Do I want to do that in a different color? And also these little, what do we decide to call those? We were talking about that the other night. I don't quite remember. So I'm going to start, while you think about the heart and the little bursts, I guess is what you would call them. I'm going to stir up this blue. And you guys, you don't have to use the colors I'm using. You can use any color you like. But I wanted to do something a little different. We're going to use traditional colors on our next project tonight. I'm also trying to figure out the best time for you guys to see me live. I try not to get them too close to dinner and not too late because I'm too tired. I can't stay up like I used to. I can stay up, I just can't talk and talk people through things like I can when it's earlier. My best time is probably later in the morning or early afternoon. But that might not be a convenient time for my viewers, so I'm kind of avoiding that. All right, that looks pretty nice. It's a little bit lumpy, but I'll be able to work around that. So I'm going to be using a mini squeegee tonight on, I think, all of the pieces that I'm using. So I'm just going to scoop some of that out. And if you have never chalked before, use a little bit more than you think you need. After you've done this for a while, you get a feel for how much you actually need, and you don't need to use as much. But don't worry that you're wasting, because you're not, because we'll scrape off all of the excess and put it right back in the jar when we're done. So I'm just going to smooth this over the open areas where you see that light tan, that grayish color shining through. And you don't need to worry about covering all of the teal. So just cover the open areas. You can leave it thick if you're comfortable with that, especially if you're new. Don't spread it too thin. The reason is that we don't want the chalk paste to dry on the transfer before you pull it up. If you do that, you know what will happen is it'll pull the chalk up with it, and it won't be on your surface nice. So just cover it nice and thick when you're starting. Because I've done this a long time, I can really get a feel for how to get it on nice and thin right away, and work quickly like that. Doesn't even really need to be scraped, but because these are nice and thick, I'm going to go back over and just sort of scrape off all the excess and put it right back in the side of the jar. Now you want your chalk paste to be about the consistency of sour cream or cake batter, but if it feels any thicker than that, you want to add some distilled water to it to thin it just a little bit. Do a couple drops at a time, stirring in between until you have the nice light consistency of cake batter. All right, so that is all covered, and I've scraped off the excess, and what I'm going to do is peel it back nice and easy, like so. Got a little bit of a bleed right there. I knew I felt something funky. So what I'll do is I'll let that dry and go back in and clean it a little bit with a tool that I have. See, I don't have it right in front of me, but you can pick that right off. So there's my hugs. And yeah, I didn't bring my drying tool with me tonight, or I would use that. But you can let that set for just a couple of seconds, like 30 seconds. It dries super, super quickly. Down here, it's really warm. I have my space heater running. So it'll dry, this will be dry in about 5 minutes. It doesn't need to be completely dry, but I'm just gonna let it fall down nice and gentle like so. Remember I said I felt like there was a little bit of grit in there. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure that's what caused a little bit of bleeding to happen. Let's see how this part looks. Let's try it again. So I'm going to push down the ampersand and just let the rest of it fall back lightly. I'm putting absolutely no pressure on it. Okay, so I'm going to cover that blue because we are done with that. If you guys have any questions while I'm working, please ask. Happy to answer your questions. You don't even have to ask the questions. Just say hello and let me know if you're a new viewer. Just say hello and let me know you're here. This is really, really thick. It's kind of like brownie batter, so I'm going to give it a drink. Just like so. I keep this little spray bottle with me all the time on my table so I can thin my paste as I need to. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go back in with another mini squeegee and do the same thing I did before, just covering the ampersand with the chalk paste. And then I'll scoop off the extra and put it back into the jar. And there it goes. So there is no waste. Jars will last you a good long time. Okay, and we're going to peel that off. That one came out perfect. What do you think of these colors so far? Do you like them? I think it looks good. I should have plugged in my dryer. I would have made it go even faster, but it's okay. All right, I'm just gonna let that fall back and we're gonna do the kisses. I don't see any comments. You guys think I should do the hearts and the little splatters in a different color, or should I do those in green also? I'm wondering if I should use a darker green. No, the green that I have is a little too bright. I'm not looking for that tonight. It's kind of a primary grass green. Alright, so we're going to go with this one. This is called Sage. It's a beautiful color. This one's nice and creamy. I used it yesterday, but I'm going to give it a stir anyway. Can you see how beautiful and nice that looks? Sometimes the jars come a little bit smoother, other times they're more chunky. Who knows why? We don't know. Alright. I'm going to do kisses in green, and you guys got to tell me, what do you think about the heart and the splats? Different color or the same color? Maybe the blue. I don't know if the brown would be just too much. Too much. I'm trying to keep it sort of simple and sweet. Simple and sweet. Spreading that chalk. All green, huh? Cindy says all green, and I trust her. She's really good taste. Okay, all green it is. Here go the splats. We're just calling them splats. I don't know what else to call them. And the heart too. So those pieces are all covered, and we're gonna just go right back in and squeegee it off. Do you guys think you would use non-traditional colors like these, or would you go more for the red, white, pink, and black, which we're gonna do in our next project? I got two cuties tonight for you. Okay, that has been scraped. And before that dries, we're going to peel the whole transfer off. Oh, it's pretty cute. It is pretty cute. All right, let's see. I'm getting junk on my hands as usual. So the only thing I think I would have done differently, I would have done that green a little bit darker. So I might let this dry and go back over it, mix up a custom color that's a little bit brighter than this. You'd use non-traditional? Thank you, I'm glad. Sometimes you just have to, right? Think outside the box a little bit. So I'm gonna let this dry, I'm gonna set it aside, and if we have time, I'll show you how to do a custom color. How about that? But before I do that, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna clean this transfer a little bit. This could get messy. All right, I'm just gonna lay this on the table and do it. Just gonna work on this bottom part where it says kisses. I don't need to do the whole thing right now. But actually, the sooner that you can get your transfers to your sink, I usually do this in the sink, the better. Your chalk or your ink cleans much easier if you do it right away. If you happen to be working with ink, we do recommend that you clean your transfer ASAP, because if the ink dries inside of the mesh, the screen, it'll clog it all up. So wash it up as soon as possible. If you're doing chalk, you can let this sit as long as you want, but when you try to clean it, it'll be harder. So I always recommend that you do it sooner than later. There, so that'll be ready to go again if we want to make that darker. Oh, thanks, Leslie. All right, let's clean this up a little bit, and we'll let it dry, and then maybe we'll come back later and make it a little bit darker. I think the green just doesn't quite show up as much as I would like it to. So I'll show it to you again a little closer. So you can see that the blue and the brown, I love those colors. The green, I just feel like it's a little bit too pastel-y. But we'll fix it. Okay, so you ready for the next one? This is kind of an experiment. I'm using a new fabric to ink on that I haven't used before. And the transfer that I'm using is from the Vintage Truck Spring Add-on Collection. So you guys know how much I love my Vintage Truck, but I gotta tell you, I have used more elements from the truck for things not to do with the truck than anything. I've made t-shirts, I've made signs, and this one is going to be a pillow sash. So cross your fingers that this works. It's kind of an experiment for me because I've never worked on this kind of fabric. But what I did is I went to my local craft store and I bought some Valentine fabric. And it's black and it's got these cute little hearts on it. So I cut strips. They're 36 inches wide. I wrote it down so I could tell you guys. They are, I cut the sash 6 inches wide. And then I cut the white part 4 inches wide. And then I just sort of turned them and hemmed them under. So if you don't sew, don't panic. I've seen people do this with hot glue or fabric glue. You don't have to know how to sew to do this. But I made it into like a tube so it's round and will fit around my pillowcase. It should go right over this so it's across the center. Does that make sense? All right, we'll see how it works. So first thing I'm going to do is I have this folded in half so that the seam is in the back side right in the center. And And I'm going to use, oh my gosh, I'm gonna need more room. I'm gonna use my inking mat. This is a Chalk Couture inking mat. And as I say to you sometimes, if you don't have one of these, I know they've been out of stock for a long time, you can use a Cricut or a Silhouette mat. Use an old one that you don't really use anymore. But mine, I wanted it to fit a little bit bigger because I wasn't sure I was going to just use Cupid Farms on there or if I was going to do a little more. After I made it, I think I might just leave it at that. The other thing that I brought out to put on there were the balloons also from the same transfer. I just don't know if it's going to look too cluttery. So we're going to do the first part, and you guys can help me decide if you think we should go and put some more on it. So far, so good. So I have some inks with me here. I have black ink, and I have, this is red. See, these are the old jars. They're 2-ounce jars, which we don't have anymore. And they had the, I don't know, some of them don't even have the names of them. They were just red, black, pink, things like that. I also have a coral, which I don't think matches really well. This is a really bright pink and a very pink, and this is just a little orangey, more orangey than I like. So I think we're going to stick with our red and black for this. So when you're doing inking, the first thing I always tell people is to be sure you have some kind of wet wipes near you, because if you get any ink on your fingers and you touch your project, you know what's going to happen. It doesn't come out. It really, really doesn't. The only time I was able to repair something that I messed up with ink was on a black t-shirt. I think I got white ink where I didn't want it to go, but believe it or not, I took a Sharpie and I went over it and over it and over it, so you never know that I made a mistake there. Anyway, so we're going to do Cupid Farms on here in red and black. So I'm going to, I should probably write on the back of this, I have never used this one before. Cupid Farms, right? So writing on the back is helpful because, first of all, if you have a bunch of transfers on your table and you've washed them and you're ready to put them back on their carrier sheets where you got them from, because these are reusable, writing on the back helps you know which carrier sheet, the white sheet, goes with which transfer. Also, writing on the back of it reminds you that when you put the transfer back on the carrier sheet, you want to put it on the silky, slick side, not the side that has the writing on it. So that just reminds you. This side is sort of a matte finish, and if you attach your transfer to it, there's a chance that it will not come off. So it's just kind of a beware thing, and that helps you to remember not to put it on there. So let's try to find the center of this, which I'm guessing is right about here. Looks pretty good. And when you're doing inking, you want to make sure you rub this down as hard as you can. So the backer mat is doing a couple things for us here. It is keeping the fabric from moving, first of all. And it also is preventing your ink from bleeding from the front of your project to the back of the project. This one probably won't because it's a few different layers. But if you're working on a t-shirt and you ink the front of your t-shirt, if there's nothing in between the layers of the front and the back, chances are the back of your t-shirt's also going to get inked. So you want to be aware of that and be very, very careful and keep that mat in there. And it really does help that it's not like moving around when you're chalking too. Alright, so that feels pretty tight. And I'm going to show you a couple little tricks for inking that I think you will like. Grab a couple of these. My squeegees are ready. The inks for some reason don't really need to be stirred up. They never get thick. They just stay beautiful if you can get them out of the jar. Let me see if I can get that open. Oh, it's tight. All right. This can get messy right off the bat. Let me grab here's my paper towels. I've already got ink on me and I haven't even started yet. Okay. So, they used to come with this plastic lid inside of them, which they don't anymore, but I never failed to get ink on my hands from the little lid. So, there we go. Red and black. Check the fingers. Check, check, check. And keep those wipes handy. So when you're working with ink, what you're going to do is you're going to scoop your ink. You don't need as much as you would if you were chalking. So take some ink, and instead of starting right in the middle of your transfer, start over it. Like I'm going to go right above these letters here and pull the ink down. So I'm starting above the C and going right down on it. You kind of want to avoid going left and right. Just start from the bottom and work your way down. This really helps with bleeding. We hope. As again, I haven't used this fabric before. I have chalked on plenty of pillows and plenty of t-shirts. This is sort of a canvas that I picked up, and I'm hoping for the best. If not, well, you can learn from my mistakes, right? So far, so good. So I love the idea about these pillow sashes that you can just take them off and put a different holiday up whenever you feel like it. Okay, I'm going to do the little dashes on the side and just a little tiny bit of black. Yeah, I tried to go sideways there. Did you see that? I caught myself. All right, so if there's any excess, scrape that off. One of the things I love about working with inks is that the dry time is much longer. You don't have to worry about pulling it up immediately. You don't want to wait too long, of course, but you don't have to do it immediately. And going with the black. And pull that down. So if you don't have ink, and this is a sash that you don't think you will ever wash, you can also use chalk. Just be aware that, you know, it is not washable. You'll have a mess. If it's a pillow that's going to be handled like kids playing with it or whatever, you also might want to consider doing it in ink as well, because it could get bent a lot and crack. Here we go. We're going to pull. All right, I can see that my red here needs a little bit more, so I'm going to go in. That's why I was pulling nice and slowly so I could be sure that everything looked good. Might have been just the C. Let's see. I'm just going to go nice and easy all the way across. See how it looks. It looks pretty good. Yay! It looks really nice. I love it. Alright, I'm going to stick this somewhere where it won't matter. Let me put it over here. Okay, and of course I have red ink on me. What do you think? I think it looks pretty cute. So I think I'm going to plug in my dryer for a second, heat this up, and then I'm going to tell you about how to heat set your ink pieces. How many of you guys have used ink before? Tell me if you've used ink before. Also, tell me if you sprinkled my video, because I will be doing a drawing as soon as I have a total of a dozen people that have sprinkled. So let me grab my heat tool for a sec. It's right here beside me. Just gotta plug it in. Okay. I could stand and do my projects. Maybe that would be easier for me. Vertically challenged, right? So this will take a little bit longer to dry. Most of the time I will just let it air dry overnight. And after that, you're going to take it to your iron. Do you have one of those? Take it to your iron, and they recommend that you use a piece of parchment paper. Now, if you don't have parchment paper, I've used a piece of like paper from my printer, white paper, in a pinch. And you're going to put your paper on top of your dried ink between your fabric and your iron. And that, you are going to heat up your iron to medium heat and iron it for 4 minutes. Just kind of slowly in circles. You don't want to burn it, of course. Just keep it moving for about 4 minutes. After 4 minutes, you're going to flip it over. This one, I don't know if I'd even bother with it for maybe for a minute. Again, you won't need your parchment paper, but the parchment paper is keeping the ink from getting inside of your iron. Happened to me once when I forgot, so it's just be sure that you are aware of that. Thank you, Cindy. You've inked a couple times. What did you do, Cindy? I'm trying to remember. You probably showed it to me, but I can't quite remember. I'm just going to give this one more minute, and then I'm going to put it on the pillow, see how it looks. Super cute. I love it. All right, so again, I was thinking about putting the balloons there. I don't know. I think we should leave it. It's pretty darn cute like it is. We could add something from this transfer set though. This is the Hugs and Kisses. And there are some little hearts on here. I don't know. What do you think? Just leave it, or should I put a couple hearts on there? They're tiny. I don't like the lips. I could put like a red one there and a red one there and a little black one beside it. Or just leave it. A dish towel and a zipper pouch. Nice. What do you think? Leave it? Gotta leave it. Alright, I'm going to pull this off. It's pretty dry. I'm going to even attempt to put it on the pillow for you so you can see how it works. Move this aside. And my pillow. This is an 18-inch pillow that I'm using. Let's see if I can put this on without messing it all up. I think I can. That's cute. So you saw them here first. Pillow Sashes. This is my own design. Okay. Alright. I think I might make them a little bit smaller next time. I'm going to flip my camera so that I can show it to you this way. There you go. Isn't that adorable? So you could do this on, I have a couple other pillow covers that I was thinking about using. One is like a black and white buffalo plaid, and one is a black pin tuck. I also have a solid black one, but I didn't think that would show up very well, but I think this is pretty cute. And I love that you can just take it off whenever you want. So there might be others like this in our future, so keep your eyes open on that. I think it's adorable. So I'll put that there for now so you can see it if you like. And we're going to fix this one because I'm not happy with the green I used. I thought I would be, but I'm not. And I have to clean that up a little bit too. Alright, so let me grab another green that I have. We're going to have to play with this a little bit, muddy it up. Okay, so I've got this green here, and you can see, oops, hold on. Get that back in there. There we go. So this green here is just a little bit too bright, I think. Just too bright. So I could muddy it up with this color, which is called Camel, or I could just add a little bit of this bark. I think I'm going to try it. What do we got to lose here? So I've got these little dishes. I'm going to zoom you guys in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take some green and give this a stir. This obviously has not been used in a while. It's a little dry looking. And stir that up a little. It's fine. I just need a little bit. I'm just going to grab some of that and put it in this little plastic dish that I have. And then I'm going to grab some of that bark and add a little bit of that as well. We're doing custom colors, you guys, and you can do this as well. All right, muddy green. See what we come up with. Well, so far it's a little bit too brown. Oh, it's kind of a weird color. It's kind of an olive color. What do you think? It's not bad. That might work. We probably have a color that would work perfectly for this. I just don't have it. And I leave a lot of my colors at my shop, so when I'm at home, every now and then I'll find like Oh my gosh, I really wish I had whatever it is here with me, and it's up there at the shop. So make do with what you have, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay this back on top. It is dried, and it's pretty easy because I can see right through the transfer to where it goes. And we're going to change this up to olive green so it'll look a little bit brighter. I'm sorry, you're off camera. Keep forgetting about that. All right, we're going to go back in and do the kisses again. I think this is going to look better. All right, hope I have enough here. I think I made enough. We'll see, right? So I'm going to scoop that out of my tray. Of course, I'm going to get it on my hand. And start spreading this over the word like we did before. It's just a little bit too pastel-y looking on here. So this ought to make it look better. How's that? I made it work. We got enough. All right, scrape off the excess, and there is excess, believe it or not. I don't think I'll save it though. Spot right there I missed. You gotta tell me when I'm missing stuff. Okay. All right, let's hope for the best. Oh, it's a different look. Ta-da! I think that looks better. I like that one better. All right, let's hit that with the dryer for a sec. Let's see if I have any. All right, think that looks better, you guys? What do you think? All right, now I'm going to point out my flaws here. I definitely have a little bit of bleeding in the U. Can you see that? Let's see if I can clean that up. If this was on a chalkboard, I would use a tool that we have. It's called a detail tool, but I do not think I want to do that on this because it's painted. Likely thing that would happen is that it would scrape the paint off, and nobody wants that to happen. So I'm just going to wet a Q-tip here and go in there and clean that up. Yeah, it's coming right out. Thank goodness for these Q-tips. I want to try to find some of those Q-tips that have the points on them. I bet you that would be really handy to have. I'm just going to kind of work my way around the U. I don't know what happened with the U. All the other ones came out great. Whew, I'm really close to the edge here. All right. A little bit more on this side. Gotta have a steady hand for this sometimes. Yeah. I'm happy with that. Except for right there. Okay. Hit that with the dryer. Super cute. You think it needs anything else? Yeah, definitely better. I agree. And this is definitely something that you could give your husband or your boys. It's not quite as frilly as Valentine hearts and things like that, but I hope you liked it because I like it. So what was your favorite project tonight, the sign or the pillow? Inquiring minds want to know. Why can't I get my... This will not zoom back out on me for some reason. Sorry about that. You're going to have to bear with me. All right, so let's go back here a little bit. And I'm going to show you both the projects again. Here is our adorable little Hugs and Kisses sign. And our... Oops, I'm going to be careful. Make sure I don't have any ink or chalk on me here. And our cute little Cupid Farms pillow. Those are our two projects for tonight. Cindy, you like the pillow? That came out so cute. I'm going to put it up close so you guys can get a better look. How nice that came out. And you saw how easy it was. Very, very simple. And the way that this works is you can peel it right off anytime you want to and change it. So that is what I have for you tonight. I hope you enjoyed. If you are interested in any of the products that I showed you tonight, I don't have the pillows or the pillowcases, but I can tell you where to get them. I can probably make one of these fabric pillow sashes with what I have left from my project from today. I do have one of the spring vintage truck transfers in my shop. They're also in my online store, which I'm going to pop up my link again right here. They are selling like hotcakes because they are being retired. So if you want one of those, be sure to either let me know, and you can take the one I have in stock locally, or you can order it right on my website right below here. Hugs and Kisses also is sold out on my website. I do have a couple. If you were going to be at my class on Friday night, you'll be using them, and I will bring some stuff. So let me know if you'd like to make one of these signs as well. And yeah, that's what I have for you tonight. I hope you enjoyed. You guys, if you are members of Chalk Couture, just wanted to remind you again that you are going to be getting a free catalog. We have a brand new catalog coming out in a couple of weeks, and wait till you see it. Just wait. So all my club members are going to be getting those, excuse me, as well as their February transfers. You guys also know that you get free, not free, but much lower rate, flat rate is what I'm trying to say, flat rate shipping on all of your orders, no matter how large or small they are, on my website. And most of the time there are monthly specials for club members only, so you want to be sure to be a member of Chalk Couture. If you are not a member of Chalk Couture, put club in the comments and I will send you some information. And of course, if what I do looks fun to you and you would like to get paid money to craft like I do, let me know and I'll get you some information on that as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back tomorrow. Friday I will not be going live, I don't think, because I have class in the morning, class in the evening. I'll be chalked out by then, but I will be back probably Monday. So I hope you have a wonderful night. You guys are awfully non-chatty tonight, but whenever I love it when you contribute to our conversations too. So make sure that you say hello always and hit that sprinkle button. Have a wonderful night, and I will see you all soon. Bye.